What you missed yesterday was me going over the explanation of your next poster projects. Right now, please write your name and the due date, which is February 20th, right on the top of your blue paper. My paper is white, yours is blue, but yours should look similar to this, just on blue paper. So go ahead, write your name, February 20th, at the top. If at any time you don't finish writing something before I move on, just go ahead and pause the video and then play when you're ready to move on. So as I go through this, you need to read along with me and write whatever I tell you to write when you do it. So number 1, decide on a way to neatly organize the 4 ancient river valley civilizations we learned about: Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and India, into 4 parts on a poster. So you could arrange it like this, or like this, or like this. Either way works, as long as it is divided into 4 equal sections. You will be good. So let's read number 2. The words and phrases on the back are some things we learned about during the first semester. Decide which civilization each one is associated with and include it in the proper section. You can write it any way you choose. Be creative. You must include all of these things on your poster. Some of the provided words or phrases may apply to more than one civilization. So these are all of the words that need to be somewhere on your poster, either under Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, or China. Now in class, we will go through and we will write, and we will look in our book to figure out where all these words go. So how we do that, the first place you want to look in your textbook is the glossary. The glossary is in the back of the book, and it is blue. So if I look up, let's say I wanted to look up the word dynasties and see which civilization or civilizations it belongs to. The first thing I need to do is turn to the glossary and look up dynasty. You can see that dynasty is a series of rulers from the same family. And right here, there is a page number. This is the page number where dynasty first appears. So if I turn to page 89 in the book, I can see by looking I can look at section titles, like those red words and blue words, those subheadings that we've been using. And I can see, and that might help me identify the civilization. And this one certainly does. If I look up here, it says kings unify Egypt. So dynasty must belong with Egypt. Now, if you can't find any red or blue words that give you a hint, don't go through and read all of this. Your best bet is to look down at the bottom right, and you can see right here that it says ancient Egypt right there. So what you need to do is go, seeing that dynasty belongs with the civilization of Egypt, go to your blue paper, and on the back, next to the word dynasties, write a capital letter E for Egypt. Now, some of these words could belong to more than one civilization. So once you use the glossary, you are not done, because the glossary only tells you the first page that it appears on. So the next thing you need to do is to go to the index. The index is after the glossary, and you'll notice on the side it says index, and it's kind of an orangish brownish color. Now as I look under the D's and look towards the end, because it's dynasty, so dynasty is going to be at the end, I can see that dynasty is not in the index. But I'm not done there either. There's another place that I can look in my textbook to find out if dynasty belongs with another civilization, either Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, or China. And that is the table of contents. So what you want to do is open up your book and turn to the table of contents, where you can see chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are the only 4 chapters we need to concern ourselves with, because our poster is only dealing with Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, and China. And what you want to do is read through each of the section titles to see if maybe you see a clue for the word dynasty. Looking at chapter 3, I don't see anything. Going to chapter 4, I don't see anything. But we've already established it's Egypt. Going to chapter 5, I don't see anything. But when I look at chapter 6, I can see that there was the Zhou dynasty in China, the Qin dynasty, and the Han dynasty. So obviously, dynasty not only goes with Egypt, but it goes with China as well. So on the back of your blue paper, next to dynasties, where you've written a letter E, put a comma, a capital letter E, put a comma after it, and write a capital letter C. And what we need is on the notes section of your poster right here. What I want you to do is to write the following key. So put exactly these words in the notes section. If you want to put a bullet by it, go right ahead. So I want you to write the word key, then put M equals, E equals, I equals, and C equals. So this is going to remind us what each letter by, because we don't have room to write Mesopotamia next to a word on the back of our rubric. And M, of course, stands for Mesopotamia. E stands for Egypt. I stands for India. And C stands for China. Go ahead and pause the video. And then make sure you have all of this right here written in this part on the notes section of on the back of your rubric. All right. So you're going to do that process of finding where words belong, which civilizations they belong in, for every single word on the back of your rubric, using the glossary first, followed by the index, and then the table of contents. Now, let's pretend that I have written I figured out where all of these words belong, which civilization or civilizations they go with. And I'm ready to put words on my poster. Okay? What you want to do is go to your poster, and let's pretend that I've got all of them done, but I want to start with dynasties. So what you want to do is, seeing that dynasties belongs with both Egypt and China, what you want to do is write those in those sections. So I'm going to put, and I seem to be having trouble with my stylus, so I'm just going to go ahead and type them, but you are going to handwrite them. So we're going to pretend this is my handwriting. So I'm writing the word dynasties by Egypt in my Egypt section and in my China section. You are going to do that for each word on the back of your rubric. There are 42 words here, 43 counting the bonus right here. All 42 words need to be on your poster somewhere with the civilization or civilizations they belong to. So next, you need to know that all research to identify the civilizations will be done at school. We will do it for a few minutes every day during bell ringer, as long as everybody in the class is quiet. You need to take advantage of the time given to you. You do not need to bring a poster to school. You're going to figure out where which civilization each word belongs with at school. At home, you're going to make your poster. Also, the star is your bonus. So this word right here is a bonus word. If you get it, fine. If you don't, no points off. Let's now look at number 3. So number 3 says choose 5 characteristics, those are these words right here, of each civilization from the list on the back to illustrate in that section of your poster. They must be drawn neatly on the poster and colored. Pictures cannot be printed from a computer. Computer pictures equals no credit for that picture. Excuse me. Now, so let's take a look at these boxes on the back of your rubric. This box right here, if you notice, typed sideways, it says you may not use any of these words for your pictures. So while these words will be on your poster, I don't want to see a picture for the Nile River, for any of the rivers, the mountains, the seas, for Buddhism, for Hinduism, for subcontinent, or for Harappa or Mohenjo-Daro. So no pictures can be drawn for these words right here. This box down at the bottom left, typed sideways, it says you may use the internet to look up what these look like and draw your picture according to that. So you can go to Google Images, type in Rosetta Stone, search, look at a picture of what the Rosetta Stone looks like, and then draw it in the section of the poster where it belongs in. For any of these words, you may use the internet to see what it looks like. However, for this last box right here on the right, the real long box, it says you may not use the internet for any of these words. The picture you draw must represent the meaning of the word. For example, pharaohs is on here. So I told the students last year that they could not look up pharaoh in Google. They had to look at the definition for the meaning of the word pharaoh and draw a picture for that meaning. So if you recall, Pharaoh is a king in Egypt. Well, a lot of the pictures that I got for Pharaoh, sorry, it looks like I misspelled it, looked like this right here or this right here. That does not show me that a pharaoh is a king. Now, if you were to draw a stick figure with a crown on his head, that would represent the meaning of the word pharaoh. So another example that I could give you is using the words that we already looked up, which is dynasties. Okay, so going back to my little sample poster, okay, dynasties belongs in Egypt and in China. So we remember that dynasties is a series of rulers from the same family. So I'll kind of explain my picture here. Here I have so what we're talking about with dynasties, back it up just a little bit, is remember, somebody is a ruler, he dies, his son becomes king. When that guy dies, his son becomes king. So the crown gets passed down from father to son to grandson to great-grandson and so forth and so on. So my picture here, although it's very crude, but you would take a little more time. I could draw it a little better if I took some time. What I have here is the first king with a crown on his head, then his son with a crown on its head, and the arrow is showing that power is being passed down from father to son. And then the grandson right here, the son of this one, grandson of this one, with a crown on his head, and the arrow showing power passing down to him. So, keep in mind, that is how you use the definition of the word to draw a picture. So that's what these are. If you go to the internet and you look up a picture for those words, I'm going to know it. And when I grade your poster, I'm going to take points off for it. And you won't get credit for that picture. And I'll simply write for my explanation, picture does not represent the meaning of the word. So the picture that you draw must represent the definition. And we will get a list of the definitions for all of these words within the next couple days. Now, what else we need to remember and put in the notes section of our rubric on the back, right here. We need to add on to that words must be written by the picture. So if you notice on my section, I made sure that my picture for dynasties was right next to the word dynasties. Also, I'm not giving you credit for the same picture twice. So if a word belongs both in Egypt and China, and you draw a picture for it in Egypt, you cannot draw a picture for it in China. Pick a different word from the back of your rubric to draw for in China. The next thing, I'm not looking for artistic ability. You saw how well I drew my dynasty picture. So I am not expecting you to be an artist. I'm expecting you to be able to take a definition of a word and show the meaning of it through a picture. Also, the pictures must come from the list. This list right here. So I could have put the word chariot on here, but it's not. So I better not see a picture of a chariot because it doesn't come from this list. Also, none of the words here should have a picture for them. Remember, all your words must be on your picture, on your poster, excuse me, but you only have to have 5 pictures for each section. Also, no rolled posters. If you're embarrassed by your poster, I can understand that. Don't roll it up. Bring it to school in a garbage bag, and when you come into class, just take it out of the garbage bag and give it to me. Go ahead and pause this and make sure you get all this list and play the video when you're done writing all of these. Alright, so I want to remind you that on this poster, you will have I want to remind you that on your poster you will have 42 words. Some of them will be in Mesopotamia, some of them will be in Egypt, some of them will be in India, some of them will be in China. You will only have a total of 20 pictures. 5 for Mesopotamia, 5 for Egypt, 5 for India, and 5 for China. And those pictures that you draw come from the words in this box right here and the words in this box right here. Now, the other thing that we need to do is number 4. Write a 5 to 7 sentence paragraph on the back of your poster board about the civilization you found to be the most interesting. Include your favorite aspects of that civilization in your paragraph. This needs to be written on your poster, not on a sheet of paper glued to your poster board. I always had problems writing on, when I was y'all's age, writing on paper that didn't have lines on it. So I understand my words always went kind of crooked. So I understand that. So get out a straight edge, get out a ruler, use the edge of a binder, edge of a book, and draw some lines on the back of your poster and write on those lines. So remember to have your rubric with you the day the project is due. No rubric is minus 2 points off your final grade. Right here in this section right here, I want you to write name and poster on back, write your name and hour on back of poster. Write that right here. Name and poster written on back, name and hour written on back of poster. You will not attach your rubric, though, to the back of your poster. When you come into class, you will give me the poster in one hand and the rubric in another. I do not want the rubric attached to your poster. So you can see where all your points are coming from right here. It's a total of 58 points. I will tell you this. If your paragraph is not at least 5 sentences, you will get no points at all for your paragraph. So make sure you count your sentences. Do hold off on writing your paragraph though, because before your project is due, probably next week, Thursday or Friday, I will give you some help on how to set up your paragraph. Now, neatness and organization, I will tell you this about that. Your poster is either neat and organized or it is not. It is, so you will either get 4 points or you will get 0. There is no partial credit to be given for neatness and organization. It's a total of 58 points. Ways to immediately lose points on your project. Late, minus 5 points off, final grade for each day that it's late. I want you to write right here in this space, right here, I want you to write, can't turn in after February 22nd. Cannot turn in after February 22nd. So if you turn in on February 21st, that's 5 points off. That is a 53 out of 58 is the highest grade that you can get. That's a B. If you turn it in on the 22nd, that is 10 points off. That's a 48 out of 58 is the highest grade that you can expect. That is a C. You do not want to turn this in late. If you are absent on the 20th, you don't need to have your parents bring it up here. Bring it back. Bring it on the next day that you show up at school. It will not be late. As long as if you are absent. No rubric is minus 2 points off your final grade. And any words or paragraph glued to your poster board is minus 2 points off your final grade. So this is the explanation of your project. If you have any questions, let me know.